Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas. It's time to shine on college football smothered and covered.
You are Locked On College Football, smothered and covered, with your host, Barrett Sallee. Your one-stop shop for everything college football. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome in. Today's show brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. When you place your first $5 bet, you'll get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's right. A $5 bet gets you $200 guaranteed from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I really appreciate you guys making this your first listen every day. Please share the program, like, notify, leave a review, all of that stuff. Even if it's a bad review, I'd like a good review though, because I like you, and hopefully you like me. And I know based on some feedback, you generally do like this show. We have time to shine like we do every single Thursday. So it means we're going to run through a bunch of people, places, things, coaches, programs who have to shine this weekend, who I have my eye on in terms of determining what these teams actually are moving forward in the 2024 season. First, foremost, and without a doubt, the most important piece of the puzzle for the Alabama Crimson Tide is that offensive line. If you've watched that offensive line all year long, you know it's shaky at best, horrendous at worst. And it was pretty bad last week. 9 tackles for loss by the South Carolina Gamecocks. In fact, when you watch that game, I mean, it was almost comical how often they were living in the backfield. And even if they weren't getting somebody behind the line of scrimmage, poor Jalen Milroe, man, he was all over the place. He had no time. He was always on the move. Now, generally speaking, Jalen Milroe on the move is a good thing because, let's be honest, he's fast. He's agile. He's Jalen Milroe. But you can't do what Alabama's offensive line did last week and expect to win games and expect your quarterback to bail you out every single time. So Alabama's offensive line needs to show me love. And not just in general, not just because Alabama needs to fix its problems. It's this week specifically going up against the Tennessee front seven. Now, I know they're without Peely, but still a Tennessee front seven that is the strength of the team, not just the defense, the strength of the team. They're second in the SEC in tackles for loss. You know where Alabama is? 10th. That, my friends, is what you call a mismatch. And that, my friends, is what you call perhaps wrong team, wrong time for the Crimson Tide. So, you know, we can sit here and talk about Milroe or whoever, like receivers. It doesn't matter. It's Alabama's offensive line's time to shine. Now, that can be correlated with Kalen DeBoer. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I think you can put Kalen DeBoer on this list as well. This is, I think, suboptimal is too kind when discussing how the beginning of the Kalen DeBoer era has gone for Alabama. And the reason I say that is, when has Alabama been this disrespected, this much of an overthought or afterthought? When has that happened? When's the last time that happened? It's 2007. It's 2007. Saban's first year. Then we know what happened in 2008. They go to the SEC championship game. They lose to Florida. 2009, they win it all, and then the rest is history. I said it yesterday, Alabama's lost its intimidation factor. And why has it lost its intimidation factor? Because it doesn't go out and own the line of scrimmage. It doesn't go out and play bully ball. It doesn't go out and play joyless murder ball like we saw during the Saban era. We go out and when we watch Alabama, we see a good team with a flaw that might be fatal. I mean, honestly, might tank their season. So that's why we're not going with Kalen DeBoer in terms of time to shine. We're going to the Alabama offensive line, because if the Alabama offensive line just takes a little bit of a step forward, it'll go a long way towards giving Jalen Milroe some help, improving a running game that is just sort of okay, and helping find somebody to help Ryan Williams. Just somebody to help Ryan Williams. So Alabama's offensive line, it is time for you to shine. Trevor Etienne. We go to the other big game, the biggest game, Georgia, Texas. Trevor Etienne, it is your time to shine. You've not been the hero that a lot of people expected. And I said this going in. I was like, look, Trevor Etienne's not a 1A. He's not Todd Gurley. He's not Nick Chubb. Like, that's not who he is. He's not Zamir White. Like, that's not who Trevor Etienne is. And I've been right so far. He hasn't broken the 100-yard mark on the ground this season. Last week, he averaged 3.18 yards per carry. He's just sort of a guy. Just sort of a guy. And what do we know about Georgia? When Georgia's at its best, it has a 1A and a 1B. The 1A running back gets the dirty work done, but is capable of taking 20, 25, even 30 touches per game. Trevor Etienne doesn't have 20 carries per game. So you'd think he'd be fresh and be a weapon to break free every single carry, every single play. And he's not. Is he a liability? I wouldn't go that far. Is he intimidating? No. So you're going to be on the road if you're Georgia. You're going to be in Texas. And I said this yesterday, the biggest home game in multiple generations at Texas. And that is including the LSU game in 2019. That is including the A&M games before A&M moved to the SEC. It's of all of them, because you're in a new era. So how do you take the crowd out of it? How do you slow down that Texas offense? Keep them over there. Keep them on that sideline. Pound the rock. Own the time of possession game. I don't know if Georgia can do it, because I don't think Trevor Etienne has it in him. I really don't. So if he doesn't, where does Georgia go from here? I said this going into the Clemson game. Said, look out for Nate Frazier. I was right. You go back to the Clemson game. What did everybody talk about? Damn, Nate Frazier's good. That kid can play. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? He disappeared. He disappeared until last week, when apparently he reappeared. Apparently it was like, oh, Nate Frazier, he's good. That kid can play. Do you see more Nate Frazier this week against Texas? You should, because if you're looking for the 1A, maybe it's not Trevor Etienne, and maybe it should be Nate Frazier. Just saying. Trevor Etienne's going to keep his job as the de facto number one running back on the depth chart. A, he's going to have to get significantly better. Or B, the offense is going to have to change and give him more of the things he does well, which, quite honestly, he can do some good things, but I don't know if he can do some great things. So Trevor Etienne, it's your time to shine as well. When we take a break, when we come back, it's a little more time to shine. We'll go outside of the SEC. We'll go to a game that I will be at and watch up close and personal. It's college football smothered and covered. And of course, we're powered by the Locked On Podcast Network. Today's show brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, fans, you can start this season, keep this season going with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can look at play-by-play, you can look at stats, you can look at everything that's going on in the game you're watching right there on the same page in which you place your bets. It's all there right for you, right there for you. It's the perfect setup for all of the sports fans. They'll get you started with $200 in bonus bets. That's right, $200. $200. That's like a trip to the grocery store and getting 5 things this day and age. $200 in bonus bets when you place your first $5 wager. That, my friends, seems like a very, very good deal. Go to FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook. Hey, you can become a college football smothered and covered insider. The subtext is right below. If you look right below this video or you look in this description, when you're writing a great review of the show in audio form, or you're commenting on this show on YouTube in the great community that we have built, you'll see it right there. It's a subtext. Use promo code college. You'll get your first month for free. You can text me. I can text you. I will text you what I'm doing, what I'm seeing, where I am. I will be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday. If you're a Notre Dame fan, if you're a Georgia Tech fan, and you want insight, if you want inside information, if you want content that you won't see anywhere else, join the subtext. It's right there for you, right below. Use promo code college. You get first month for free. Time to shine. Speaking of those Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Riley Leonard. Remember the first 2 weeks of the season when we were like, where the hell did Riley Leonard go? What is this? This is right. He's supposed to be the superstar. He's supposed to be the guy. Well, he is the guy now. Almost 9.3 total yards per attempt last game. That, my friends, is pretty solid. 229 yards passing. I remember when he was a liability passing after week 2. We were wondering where the hell he went. It's a good Georgia Tech rush defense, 3rd in the ACC. So, what's going to happen? This is a good team. Riley Leonard, I don't care what the injury situation is for Georgia Tech. We know what they can do. They are stout up front. They will get after you. Can Riley Leonard make some good plays? Can he be smart with the football? Can he go be a difference maker? Or is he going to go back in his shell? Is he going to be the guy we saw in the first 2 weeks of the season where he doesn't want to be a liability, but he's afraid to be a strength? I think that's what that was. He was getting back in to the flow of things after the injury, getting accustomed to his new teammates, and he didn't want to screw things up. Turns out he did, or at least his team did, in week 2 against Northern Illinois. But even against Texas A&M in week 1, I remember watching the game going, where is Riley Leonard? Isn't he supposed to be a superstar? And he wasn't. Got to get that coffee going this morning. But if Notre Dame's going to make the college football playoff, and I truly believe that they can, even if they lose another game, Riley Leonard's going to have to keep this momentum going. He's going to have to show the world that he can be who he was at Duke. And he can do that against this Georgia Tech defense. He can do that against the Yellow Jacket team that we've seen is significantly better maybe than a lot of folks think. I didn't. I thought Georgia Tech was going to be pretty good. Not to pat myself on the back, but I'm just saying. So Riley, I want to see it. I want to see what Riley Leonard was at Duke. I want to see what Riley Leonard needs to be in order to lead this team into the playoff. Because it's pretty close. I mean, think about this. Notre Dame doesn't play a conference championship. Their 2 toughest games left on the schedule are Army and Navy. Now, I know they're in the top 25, and I'm not going to disrespect the troops here. I love America. See the shirt. Although this also is an Ethereum logo. So see the shirt, love some crypto. But are Army and Navy really that intimidating for a team like Notre Dame that, from a talent perspective, is way, way, way higher than they are? I don't think so. So Riley Leonard, show me something. Show me that you can be the dude. Show me that the 9.3 yards per play total offense that we saw last week is who you can be moving forward. That's not a ton, but it's significantly more than we thought he could accomplish, and we saw that he didn't have in his bag of tricks in weeks 1 and 2. So Riley Leonard, it is your time to shine. Let me see it. I know you have it in you. And if you show it against Georgia Tech, you show the country that this Notre Dame team is actually for real. All right, time to shine. Rocco Becht. Iowa State in the top 10, undefeated. The best start we've seen in Ames ever, especially in this day and age where, the Big 12 is a hot mess and anybody can beat anybody on any given day. I want to see it. Rocco Becht, look, this is a UCF team that has disappointed me. If you've read my stuff on Outkick, and I've said it here on the show as well, that UCF for the first 3-4 weeks of the season was my wild card, my best bet every single week. And for the most part, they came through for me. Gus Malzahn was on this show, and boom, downhill go the Knights. My bad. I'm sorry, UCF Nation. And Rocco Becht is now coming in. 4 of 6 games, he's been over 10 yards per attempt. Over 10 yards per attempt. I think there's this misconception that Iowa State's just this old school ground and pound offense. And, they still do that. But Rocco Becht actually stretches the field. He actually does a really good job of that. He can run, but he really doesn't. Which is, fine, whatever. Over 7 yards per play in total offense. He gets the job done. And this is a big game against UCF. UCF is begging to get back on track. A win like this would dig them out of the hole that I created by having Gus Malzahn on the show and get them back into a spot where, okay, yeah, maybe they might not win the Big 12, but they can be a factor in the race. And having a signature win would be huge. Rocco Becht, do not let this be the time and the game that UCF bigs out of that hole. Don't let it happen. Because those of us that cover this sport on a day-by-day, week-by-week, hour-by-hour basis, we know Rocco Becht. We know he's good. We've seen him be a successful quarterback for a little bit of time now. But the country hasn't. You still want that attention. Now you're in the top 10. People will pay attention to you if your quarterback is dynamic, and this is the time to show the world that he is. UCF might make this a track meet. They can do that. That is certainly a possibility. Who has the better quarterback, UCF and KJ or Iowa State in Rocco? It's Rocco, at least right now. Prove it. Show me. I want to see it. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will wrap up the show. It's a big Thursday morning show. We'll wrap it up. It's College Football Smothered and Covered and powered by the Locked On Podcast Network. Today's show brought to you by Hims. Hey, guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health. treatments from the comfort of your couch. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for those weird, uncomfortable doctor's visits. No insurance is needed. One low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. With hundreds and thousands of subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED option that works for you. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon. That's hims.com/lockedon, HIMS.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatments. hims.com/lockedon. The products mentioned are chewable, compounded products, which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with the healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Hey, reminder, join the college football smothered and covered insiders crew. Going to be down at Mercedes-Benz. Don't really like that stadium. Wish the Georgia Dome was back. RIP Georgia Dome. Josh Payton, I know what's up. We're like the leaders of the RIP Georgia Dome crew. But we'll be at MBS with all of your Notre Dame, Georgia Tech coverage. So become an insider. You'll get all kinds of cool information. Information that you won't see on X or Facebook or Instagram or Threads. It'll be texted directly to you. And you can hit me up back. You can yell at me. It's fun. Good times. Now, before we go, there are, a couple news items. I don't love realignment all that much, but Hawaii going to the Mountain West, obviously that was going to happen. They need to have full-time members to be included in some football aspects, including the college football playoff and New Year's Six, all that stuff. So not a surprise there. Jeff Sims is going to start for Arizona State with Sam Leavitt out. Look, if you've listened to Tom Luganville and me on SiriusXM College Sports Sunday, you know our thoughts on Jeff Sims. Good luck with that, Arizona State. Had a pretty good season. Got a feeling if this continues, you're going to need somebody other than Jeff Sims. Jackson Arnold considering a red shirt makes total sense. I don't know why he's not leaving. I would imagine he takes that red shirt and goes somewhere else, but that's just my assumption. And WVU coach Neil Brown, he's been on the show. Love Neil Brown. He's trying his hardest, man. Like, I really hope he doesn't dig himself back into the hot seat, but it does seem like it might be going that direction. So he's pitching a good time. A good time for fans to come watch this West Virginia team. I know some West Virginia fans. Larry in South Carolina is a weekly caller to our show on SiriusXM. He's depressed. Every single week we see him pop up on the call sheet, and we're like, oh man, here we go. Larry's going to be upset. And generally speaking, he is. So fun time. Neil Brown, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's the case. And hey, last thing, NCAA closes the loophole. They did the good thing. They did the right. Breaking news: the NCAA did something correct. Gives you the option to put this time back on the clock. It's not that difficult. Now, the referees, the officials are still going to have to judge if the 12-min penalties are legitimate or designed to slow the game down. Fine. I know there's people out there like, oh my God, you can't do that. Whatever. What do you want them to do? It's good. It's a good system. That'll wrap it up. Don't forget to join the subtext group. Don't forget to check on Locked On College Football with Spencer McLaughlin. Does a great job over there on that show. Big Friday coming up. We'll do the Friday 5 picks tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Leave a review. Subscribe to the show. All of that good stuff. Write a comment. on YouTube if you're watching there. Until then, until tomorrow, have a great day, everybody.